Chapter 11:15. Fragments of Continents. Chapter starts where last one ended. We can see more reactions about Vegapunk's words all over the world. In Wano Kuni, people are listening Vegapunk's message with old Orochi's Den Den Mushi. We can see Momonosuke Kinemon Otama and Shinobu eating dangos. Momonosuke says, so Joy Boy was a pirate just like Luffy. Kinemon says, you know that name? Then scene shifts to G4 Marine Base Prison. We see that Damaro Black and his crew are also listening Vegapunk's message. All of them are now cosplaying as Kid Pirates. Fake Kid Pirate says, who would be stronger, Joy Boy or our Captain Kid? Damaro Black. Fake Captain Kid says it's unfair to compare since Joy Boy is dead. Vegapunk's broadcast continues while we can see that Luffy, Dory, and Brogy are still running from Warcury. Vegapunk says, to explain why Joy Boy was called a pirate, I must first talk about the Void Century. I've only read a small portion of the poneglyphs, but poneglyphs are records of a massive battle fought during Void Century. Joy Boy's enemy was the current world government. Warcury shouts Vegapunk. Then scene shifts to the laboratory. We see that Mars is walking through a corridor and using Conqueror's haki as he walks. After he passes, many Den Den Mushi fall to the ground unconscious. Vegapunk says, to be precise, Joy Boy enemies were an alliance army of 20 nations that later become world government. In other words, Joy Boy and his group was so sturdy that such forces were needed to fight him. While Vegapunk says this, we can see a panel where Joy Boy, using Nika form, that looks like Luffy Gear 5 was fighting multiple kings. Unfortunately, all of them are just silhouettes. Vegapunk continues, since I don't possess information on what ignited that battle, I shall describe it as a clash of two types of ideas, and neither side can be defined as good or evil. Then scene shifts to Zoo. We can see that some minks like Carrot and Wanda are listening Vegapunk's message, and Zoo is listening it too. Vegapunk says, as I mentioned before, the nation where Joy Boy was born was something you wouldn't believe that existed 900 years ago. The weapons that existed in that century of war seem to be crafts that cannot be recreated with today's technologies, and that even includes me, the genius. Scene shifts to Foxy Pirates. They are listening Vegapunk in a shabby small boat. Most of the crew are gone because we only see Foxy, Porche, and Hamburg. All of them have some bandages and wounds. Foxy says, what the hell is he talking about? That peanut head. Vegapunk says, and that's where our problem stems from. Back to Egghead Island, Edison asks Stussy to run away. She doesn't need to care about Barrier anymore since it's useless against 5 elders. Cut to Nami's group. Nami says they need to hurry since marine battleships are gathering around Elbaf's ship. We can see too that Zoro and Jinbei almost reach the ship. Back to Stussy. She's talking with Kaku, very sad. Stussy says, I don't know what to do. Now that Stella is gone, I've lost my purpose in life. Nusjuro breaks free from the giants and attacks Bonnie, but Frankie pulls her out of the way to avoid the attack. Nusjuro's attack cuts off easily Elbaf's ship's figurehead. Nusjuro says, you talk too much Vegapunk, all these annoying signs of lives. Then Nusjuro jumps into the air, and in an epic double spread, he cuts the entire cloud under Punk Records in half, freeing all Seraphim and Cypher Paul agents in the process. Vegapunk's speech continues. Vegapunk says, the Void Century ended with Joy Boy's defeat. However his downfall, that battle left an irreparable damage on our world. Going from island to island, that is our world today. With sailing itself being difficult, a large amount of our population will only have access to the culture of their own. Then we see more random reactions. Some people say, of course, ocean is dangerous. Then we see Shimotsuki Village too. Kushiru is listening Vegapunk while kids training. Vegapunk says, this is common sense of ours, but this does not apply to the world that existed 1,000 years ago. We can assume that our world used to have several continents long, long ago. But the catastrophic climate change that occurred during the Void Century submerged the entire world with 200 meters rise in seawater. The islands we are living on right now are merely fragments of those continents that used to exist. The world of 1,000 years ago is now sunk into the depths of water and nowhere to be found. While Vegapunk talks, we can see another epic double spread showing ruins of cities in the bottom of the sea. Then we see more reactions around the world, like Revolutionary Army, Dragon Sabo Ivankov in Kamabaka Queendom, or Nojiko and Genzo in Kokoyashi Village. Then we can see Miss Golden Week, Miss Merry Christmas, and Miss Valentine in the island where New Spider's Cafe is located. People of that island look at a mountain and say they can't believe it was more than 200 meters high in the past. They say, too, that a lot of people must have died by rise in seawater. Vegapunk's message continues. Vegapunk says, why did the sea level rise during that century? One would reasonably assume that such calamities are usually caused by natural disasters. But after my research, I can say it's impossible that so much change can happen in a span of merely 100 years. I conclude that the calamity was actually man-made. Then we see Morgans, he says. Unbelievable. In World Economy News. Paper's headquarters, Morgans can't believe Vegapunk's words. Vivi covers Morgan's mouth to continue listening, Vegapunk. Vegapunk adds, when I detected a rise in sea level across the whole world the other day, I reached my conclusion, the reason and the identity. Then we can see Mars, Saturn, and Warcury faces while Vegapunk says that last words. Vegapunk says the ancient weapons that sunk the world 800 years ago still exist today, and they are waiting the day they'll be put to use again. Cut to Mary Joyce in the final page of the chapter. Emu in the room of flowers playing with the butterflies. Chapter ends with Emu's close-up while Vegapunk talks. Vegapunk adds, in other words, the huge war that occurred during the Void Century has not yet ended. End of the chapter. No break next week. What's your thoughts about this chapter? Let me know in the comment section, and if you like this video, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel.